All right, we're here, we're backstage, Isle of Wight Festival. It is day 2, the sun is shining, a little windy, but you never know who you're going to bump into backstage. And look who's here. We've both got our sunglasses on. Kelly Jones is here.
Good evening.
Good to see you.
It was sunny a minute ago.
Well, that's the thing about these festivals. You never quite know where the weather's going to go. But listen, how unprofessional.
Who's there on the phone? Did you see?
It's my wife.
Yes. Nice picture.
You've just interrupted an interview that I'm doing with Kelly Jones. This is very unprofessional.
Tell her to get me 2 bags of lettuce in Tesco's.
He said 2 bags of lettuce from Tesco's.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Hung up on the wife. Anyway, should we carry on? Let's carry on. So, you're not performing, but you're just here to enjoy the music.
I haven't come to a festival since Oxygen. I think I went to watch a while ago. But yeah, it's nice to watch Tom Petty last night. Always liked Tom Petty's music, and tonight's Pearl Jam. Tomorrow see Noel and Springsteen. So yeah.
Do you feel though when you come to one of these places and you see that stage, and you've played here? I mean, I've seen you a couple of times at the Isle of Wight. I think the last time you did like literally, 2.5 hours over the greatest hits. Do you ever feel like, oh, actually, I wish I'd kind of got a slot?
It's a bit funny standing out there watching it because it looks bigger when you're out there. When you're on stage, you kind of deal with it. But when you're actually standing with the people and you're listening to people talking and them commenting throughout the whole show about what they really think about stuff, it's a different thing altogether.
And in hindsight, the white hat and white outfit of a few years ago, was that smart?
Well, somebody handed me the white hat as I was walking up the steps. He's now in the band. It was Adam.
Yeah.
But the white pants, I bought them on tour with David Bowie in America. I was going through my Ziggy Stardust stage in my mind.
Tell me a little bit about where you've been, because the band's had an amazing run last few years, and the #1 record with Dakota, and you've been locked up in a studio recording. Where have Stereophonics been, and when can we hear you?
Well, last year was the first year we hadn't toured in 14 years. So we bought ourselves a little studio in London, leasing out a place anyway, and we kitted all it out with all our gear, and we've just been going to work every day really, and it's been really good. We've ended up making 2 albums. We're going to release 2 volumes of music, 10 tracks on each, I think, starting in February, and be on tour for the next 2 years probably, starting in December.
How do you work in the studio? Because I follow you, as many people do, on social networks, and you tend to work what looks like normal hours. Do you do sort of like the 9 to 5? You're not one of these bands that goes into the studio at 3 a.m. and works until the mid-afternoon?
Well, sometimes you do 11 to 11. Sometimes you finish about 5. It depends what you're doing. If you're doing overdubs, and you get bored by about 5 o'clock. But if you cut in tracks as a band, then them nights go until about 3 in the morning.
And what's the inspiration for this record? Where's the kind of vibe going?
Well, it's based on a screenplay I'm trying to write as well, because I did film school and all that, but I've been banging on about this for years. But I'm actually writing this script and developing it in BAFTA every week, and it's been a bit of an experience actually. It's been brilliant. It's opened my head, and it's opened doors in my head I never knew that I had, and I've been really enjoying the process of learning something new. And the music is kind of inspired by the story in this film, which is kind of like this sort of rites of passage story about 2 kids that leave a very small town and end up in the middle of France, and what happens after that is what happens. But yeah.
Don't spoil the ending. No. And here we are. We're at the Isle of Wight Festival, as I say. You've played here with your band many times over the years. What does this festival mean to you?
Well, as a kid, I was a big Free fan, and Dylan, my brothers were older than me, so I remember watching the Free footage, All Right Now and all that particularly. So when they asked us to do, I think it was the first one back in 2003, when we headlined the Friday, and then Bowie was the Saturday and The Who was the Sunday.
That's not a bad lineup, is it, to be fair, Kelly?
Yeah. To be amongst those giants of rock, yes.
Well, listen, good to see you. I know you're not here for work, you're here for pleasure, so go enjoy yourself, and it's always good to see you. All right, take care.
Share your weekend now with Via Me. Download for free. Share, like, live.